But guys, I want to get a chance to share with y'all something that was a big innovation in my particular business here this last fall. Obviously, most of y'all know me as a coordinator. Some of y'all know me as a manager. But yes, I do spend time in the field. Now, I'm not maybe as proficient as every single person on this call, that's for sure. But I always carve out a few months to be out there to try and grind with the team, to lead by example, and honestly, to make a fat paycheck. Okay, like selling at half is the greatest thing ever, and the CSP and FSM opportunity from a financial standpoint, trust me, I do everything. It's outrageous, and why would I not want to be a part of that? So I'm excited to get a chance to do it. But this last fall, I really leaned heavily into the family program, and that's what I wanted to get a chance to share here today. Some of my kind of takeaways and things that I was able to implement into my business that had a very positive impact on my results. Now, that being said, I don't know if Curtis is on this call right now, okay? I don't know if he's on this call, but I got to tell you, trying to give a talk on a program that Curtis created with Curtis observing, that's a hell of a thing to do, all right? That's like someone wrote a great piece of music, you're going to perform it for him, and just hope that you quietly get that nod from the end. So Curtis, feel free to feed my ego at the end. You can tell me how great I did. So all that being said, I'll fly through this quick because then we're going to unleash the whole TGP team for our objections masterclass. So, guys, when it comes down to this, as a manager, I always tell my people that there's a reason you're getting the results that you're getting, okay? There's a reason you're getting the results that you are. I am confident we all work hard. I'm confident we all show up. We all do our best. But there's a reason why some people sell, 40 flatware chests a year and some people sell 8. Okay. There's a reason why, Burt Wicks is going to go out there and sell 30 grand in cookware, and then other people are going to sell a few sets and half of them are going to get returned. There's a reason why Seth Kinzer is going to sell $100,000 in ultimate sets, and other people are excited to sell a couple each campaign. There's always a reason why you're getting the results that you do. And in my experience, it's kind of this strange combination of ego and a lack of imagination that really prevents us from making a lot of big advances in different areas of our business. And I got to tell you, 2020, I know was a weird year. It was a kick in the teeth for everyone in various ways. Trust me, it was for me too. But my biggest takeaway from 2020 was just learning how to be comfortable giving up a little bit of control. Okay. Learning how to be kind of comfortable in my own weakness, embracing it, not attaching negative emotions to things that maybe I couldn't change or I wasn't as good as that I wanted to be. And by doing that, really unlocking new areas of opportunity for myself, for my life, for my business. And so when I really looked back, going into this last fall, when I knew I was going to be heavily in the field, I tried to sit there and say, okay, what is going to be the program that could do the most to drive my business in a positive way for this campaign? Into the family program. Okay. Now, when it comes down to it, guys, I will tell you, if you were to ask me, let's say last summer, how am I the family program? My answer would have been that I think I'm fine. Okay. Been some version of I'm fine. Some version of preserving my own ego, saying, yeah, I do it. I'm great at it. I sold 3 showstoppers one time to a lady. Okay, I love anytime we ask someone, it's like, hey, how's your cookware script? You're like, I sold a legacy cookware set that one time. I feel like that's not an answer. Okay, I had a new rep sell a Cutco kitchen on their second demo. They're not good at selling Cutco kitchens, for the record. So, in my experience, there's a lot of us that there are programs they're not programs we are running. They're just things we do from time to time. Okay, and the family program for me was just that. It was a thing I did from time to time. It was not a big area of focus. Where attention goes, energy flows. It didn't get a lot of attention. It didn't get a lot of energy, and therefore it didn't have a lot of heat with my customers. Okay, but just the same, for me, I had to sit down, and I just want to encourage y'all to do the same. Give yourself permission to self-assess. Okay, be kind with yourself. Figure out the areas you're not killing the game, and figure out the area that you can make the biggest gains. And like I said, for me, it was family program. Now, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to try and teach you how to do the family program. I'm just going to teach you some takeaways I had. I am not qualified to do that. All right. Curtis brought it to the team, 3 years ago. And honestly, last year at the net meeting, he did an unbelievable job of it. So download the Cutco Events app. You didn't know that? There's a Cutco Events app. Click on videos, net 2020, Curtis JQ's family program. There you go. Congratulations. Okay. So I'm not going to try and go through all the nuts and bolts. Rather, I just want to share some of the things that I was able to sort of add to the mix that really helped me get my results. Now, here is my last thought on this before we jump into kind of my key points here. Here's my value proposition for the family program. There is a finite amount of Cutco that most customers are ever going to purchase for their home. Okay. If you're a note taker, you should write that down. Maybe that makes you excited. Maybe that gives you like a pit in your stomach. But there is a finite amount of Cutco that most people are ever going to actually buy for their home. Guys, if you do not get people onto gifts eventually, even your Gold Star clients are going to tap out. All right. And I've seen this happen so many times over the years. Someone gets good at selling sets to customers. Fantastic. Okay. And so then a year or two later, as they built up their customer base, they figure out upgrades is a big area. Awesome. They lean into upgrades. They start doing great with it. And then after a year or two of that, those customers are kind of, they squeeze some juice out of that. So then they really lean into flatware, and then it takes 8 more years and they get good at cookware. Okay. And then all of a sudden they're wondering though why their past customer business is sometimes declining. Well, it's because you've done such a good job. Not everyone's going to buy our cookware. You already sold them an ultimate set and flatware. And as far as they're concerned, they're basically done. They'll buy a new paring knife once in a blue moon. That's why we keep making new paring knives. You want to know why we make new paring knives? Customers keep buying. It's as simple as that. Okay. I hope we have 38 paring knives. By the way, Brett Kramer's precision set, if you're not part of the Kramer Kitchen Group, what are you even doing with your life? It's 2020. Get with the program. Okay. He has a set of just paring knives. It's a beautiful thing. It should have an item number. Somebody make that happen. All right. So that being said, there's a finite amount of Cutco people are ever going to buy for their house. Guys, get them on gifts. The family program is key to extending the professional relationship you have with a lot of your customers. And as a program, as a group, as events reps, we should take that seriously. This should be something that we're drilling constantly at every net meeting, every chance we get, until we're, as a community, really leaned into this thing at a high level. So everyone loves the residual business that comes from business gifts and CGC. Guys, how could you possibly neglect the area within our own that gives you the longest tailwind? Okay. The reality is when you get that customer that buys a couple gifts one year and then every year, even if it's not sets, they're adding. Guys, that is what we all want. That's the sauce. That's what we need. So I've got 5 keys, 5 points. I'm just going to tell you them all and we'll see how many we get through. Number 1, better living through brochures. Better living through brochures. Please make sure you have a brochure. Okay, number 1, better living through brochures. Number 2, if you don't offer it every time, you're bad at your job. Okay, please write that down. Number 2, if you don't talk about it every time, you're bad at your job. I judge you. You've been weighed, you've been measured, you've been found wanting. Okay, that is number 2. Number 3, no introductory questions and scripts. Number 3, how are your introductory questions and scripts? You know what sucks is when you get really good at a script, but you never quite know how to work it in with a customer. Am I the only one who's done that? I worked really hard on some scripts and I just never could quite find the right thing. It's you have this great line to use and the situation never presents itself. It's like a quality pun that you never get to unleash. All right. So number 3 is make sure you know your introductory questions and scripts. Number 4, family program is the ultimate emotional close. Family program is the ultimate emotional close. If that's the only thing I cover, we'll cover that. Okay, it is the ultimate emotional close. And then the last thing, number 5, don't be afraid to make deals. Okay, number 5, don't be afraid to make deals. Guys, I can't tell you I use Curtis's script exactly, but I do try to channel his confidence. For me, it's making sure that I introduce it every single time in this very matter-of-fact way using third-party stories. I talk about it just like I talk about upgrades and flatware. I just introduce it by sharing stories of other customers who've done it recently. Number 5 is don't be afraid to make deals. Okay, and I'm happy to send my notes out. So that being said, why am I the one giving this talk? Okay, in the fall. Now, for some of y'all, these are whatever numbers. For me, these are big numbers. But I sold more than 20 galley sets on the family program in the fall. Okay, it was wild. Guys, I didn't even put galley sets out at my booth for the last year. All right, galley sets I didn't even bother putting out. I do a 3-set close. It's what I do. It's what I like. It's what I'm comfortable with. Galley sets just got in the way. But now galley sets at some shows, they're worth more than signatures to me. All right, I had 2 customers that bought 4 galley sets for me on the family program. I had 2 more that bought 3 galley sets on family program. I had people adding galley sets onto cookware and people adding galley sets on all kinds of things. I had a customer up a signature set onto their ultimate set on family program. Okay, I had tons of customers add homemakers. Hell, yesterday I sold a signature set on the family program to a referral who doesn't own Cutco. Okay, I kept trying to sell this woman and I just couldn't get her over the hump, but I sold her a signature set to her daughter. Why? I don't know. I just told her there were deals and buy for your kids and you'll save money. And she's like, that seems weird. And I'm like, I know, right? It's a crazy thing. 2020. I don't even know, but she bought it. Okay, just because I use those emotional tie downs to get her to that place. All right, so let's dive into this thing. I'm going to go through all the points again. Don't worry, guys. Number 1, brochures. Better living through brochures. Guys, it might seem silly, but brochures make things real to a customer. Okay, having something that is professionally printed, has a little bit of graphic design applied to it. That brochure, I'm sure that it was Curtis and Dave Bush, and I apologize whoever I'm leaving out. But whoever put together that family program brochure for us in Olean, that is a gift. That is a gift, guys. That brochure increased my average order significantly. All right. For me, this last fall, I sold $170,000, 172.93. That was off 218 orders. I had a $782 average order. Okay. That doesn't happen without dropping a bunch of big orders in multiple sets. That doesn't happen if I'm not on these calls and I don't learn about selling ultimate sets from Seth Kinzer, and I'm not, learning about family program from Curtis. And heck, that's why we're all here today. Guys, laminate your brochure, make it durable, make it long lasting, and have it front and center. Go to Staples, pay $3. That's literally it. You're investing in other dumb things in your life, okay? Everyone tells me, like, oh, if you didn't go to Starbucks, you could do this. Counterpoint, go to Starbucks and do that. Sell Shears Holster. It doesn't matter. All right, but go get your brochure laminated. It looks professional, it's durable, it's long lasting. Guys, this is the same reason that we use sales binders to such good effect. Whether you use Mike Dowwood's program or the Vast Action Sheets, or the Lone Star team has some great sheets as well. Guys, most people are visual, and getting comfortable walking people through the brochure, it makes it a real thing, and it helps them lock them into the concept of the family program. Okay. Number one, better living through brochures. Number two, offer it every time. Something about you're bad at your job. I forget. I maybe went too far there. All right, guys. There are things that we do sometimes, and there are programs that we execute. There are things we do, and there are programs that we execute. As a manager, advanced training 2 is something that a lot of managers do. But the PR program is a program they execute. Everything falls apart if you're not executing your programs and your systems appropriately. I highly recommend you do that self-assessment on all of our major programs: sets, upgrades, cookware, flatware, family program, business gifts. Okay? Guys, you should do that self-assessment, and you got to give yourself a little bit of grace. Don't do that dumb thing where you go like, oh, wow, I'm not as good as Curtis at this. I'm not as good at Chelsea as this. I'm not as good as Stacy as this. I can't sing as good as Josh. Man, I suck at everything. Okay? Don't do that. All right? It's not helpful. It's not productive. But instead, by doing that self-assessment with yourself, you can pick one area of focus for the next 3 months. One area of focus. Guys, we always overestimate what we could get accomplished in one weekend at a show, but we underestimate what the next 3 months can mean for us. Okay? I can't be great at everything at one time, but I can pick an area of focus. And here's what I can tell you is if every one of us leaned into family program, for instance, for the next 3 months, even when your focus shifts later in the year to other programs, it establishes this new baseline, this new level of proficiency and confidence and competence. And it's going to show through in all of your results. Guys, family program is about consistency. You should introduce it to every single customer. Make sure they know it's available. Make sure they know why it matters. It's okay when you don't always close it. Okay? Guys, as a lot of times as salespeople, we don't like to acknowledge that timing is a thing. Timing is a thing. Sometimes this is the exact right deal for a customer, but literally they're just not going to do it now. There was zero answer to that objection. The answer is timing, and you can't control it. But because I watched Josh do such a good job, presenting it to them, then next year they literally come back to the Oklahoma State Fair, and they've already budgeted for it. They've planned for it. And he just continues that conversation because just like Chelsea, he takes freakishly good notes, and it's weird. All right. It's weird working with those two because they have way too good of notes. All right. And I'm just ADDing all over all my customers. The only thing I have going for me is I know someone who lives everywhere. And the rest of the team laughs at me. They're like, oh, I live in Spokane. And I'm like, oh my gosh, my second cousin's uncle's barber is from there. I don't know. I just made that up. All right. But just the same, establish that guys, just establish that conversation with them. Plant seeds left and right because it's about consistency. And honestly, how else do you think you're going to good at presenting it outside of presenting it? All right. You should take every opportunity you have to introduce it. All right. And you should do it like it matters. All right, let's jump in. Number 3, know your introductory questions and scripts. Here's the simplest answer in the world. If you don't know how to talk about it, just ask yourself, how do I talk about flatware? All right, I love it once people get their first few good flatware orders. I mean, good flatware orders. You sold multiple flatware chests in the same week or even in the same day. I love the way they talk about flatware after that. The first time someone sells a legacy cookware set, their next customer, they're pouncing on them. All right, like a dog in a bone. All right, they're absolutely pouncing on them, and you want to do the same, guys. You can literally go, oh my gosh, have you seen this amazing thing we're doing, and plop down the brochure. That would be 1,000 times better than what most of us are doing. By the way, prior to last fall, that would have been 1,000 times better than what I was doing. Oh my gosh, have you seen this insane thing we're doing now? Plot the brochure down, and then just let them ask. No, what is it? Okay, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad you asked. Let me show you. All right, leading them to those points. And again, better living through brochures. Y'all, just asking these questions, knowing the right questions to ask. If all else fails, here's the simplest one you ask. Hey, in a perfect world, who would really benefit from having a set of Cutco in their life? That's it. Like, if there was one question you add to your mix, in a perfect world, who would really benefit from having a set of Cutco in their life? By the way, here's my next favorite question. In a perfect world, how many sets of Cutco would you own? I love asking that question. I love that question because one of two things happens. Okay, they always do one of two things. Either number one, they just self-identify that they have an RV, a beach house, and 3 other things. Guys, I sold an ultimate set to a lady at Canton out in Tyler in 3 minutes. All right, she called me back over the holidays because I asked her that question to get an ultimate set for her house in Mexico, and we're about to get an ultimate set for her house in Buffalo. Just because I said in a perfect world, how many sets of Cutco do you think you would need? That's it. It's as simple as that. Perfect world, how many sets of Cutco do you think you would need? Guys, what we found is that over time, and this is like going in with my customer. And by the way, my scripts are simple. They're not like amazing. Just do what Curtis does. But my version is something like this. Hey, Mrs. Jones, what we found is over time, many customers buy multiple sets of Cutco over the years. They buy them as wedding gifts. They buy them as birthday gifts, housewarming. They buy them for their lake house, for their RV. And because it's bought over time, they lose out on the discount they should have received from purchasing so much. So the company came up with this amazing family program. That way we can lock in a better deal if you knock out a couple of those future gifts today. Hey, just for fun, can I show you the kind of deals we have in our family program? You know what every customer says to that? I mean, sure, why not? Like I've never had a customer be like, "How dare you, sir? You know, go end yourself." I feel like you don't get negative responses to that. Oh, and if you're wondering, when you ask that question about in a perfect world, how many sets of Cutco would you like to own? They do one of two things. I mentioned that before. They either self-identify how many houses they have, or they think you're making a joke and then they laugh and they think you're funny. How is that a bad thing? Laughter reduces tension. Okay? When they laugh like, oh, I just need that big one there. You're like, great. Where's your credit card? All right. So where did we go? I lost my place in my notes. Isn't that great? I mean, you talk fast like I do, and you write your notes longhand. It's a biz notch. Guys, incentivize customers to look in the family program to get a better discount on what you're currently selling them. Curtis does such a good job talking about this last year on the talk he gave at the net meeting about how even if it's just a piece or two, the important thing is getting that customer is changing the dynamic you have with this customer to this is now a gift buying customer. Okay, that's the important thing. By the way, bonus points on your CRM or on the order form if you can write down the names of who they're giving the gift to. So that way, when you do talk to this customer and you're all day call day later, you can say, man, last year I know you got Tommy that bony knife and hearty slicer. Man, I bet he's been loving those. I bet he's bragged about those. Little bonus points there. All right, so let's jump into the emotional close because we're running out of time. Guys, this is the ultimate emotional close. The emotional close is what helps get them over the hump. This to me is, I think, the most money part that I added in. And I'm just going to share this with y'all like I do with a customer, and then we're going to take this thing all the way home because I want to turn this loose to the entire team. When I'm talking to customers, I always like to make this point. After I've gone through my basic initial part of the script, I'll just share this with them. I'll say, hey, Ms. Jones, I bet you have spent a lot of money buying gifts for your kids over the years. Is that safe to say? And you nod your head, and they go, oh my God, I have spent a fortune. Okay? And I go, but if you were totally honest with yourself, do you really think they remember what you gave them for Christmas last year? You know, do you really think they remember what you got them for your birthday like 2 years ago that you put so much thought into? And they always just roll their eyes and go, no, probably not. And I go, and honestly, like if you're being super honest, do you even remember what you got them 2 years ago? Probably not. Most people really, really don't. And Ms. Jones, it's not that your kids don't appreciate it, but it just all runs together after a while. And that's why the family program is just so different. It's such a special thing. Most people will spend more doing this on a normal gift. Okay, I'm going to be honest with you. When people do the family program with me, Ms. Jones, they usually end up spending a little more than their normal gift budget. Okay, now we got a lot of great options, so don't let that scare you off. But I got to tell you, it's something they're going to use forever. They'll think of you every single time they touch that. Every time they walk into the kitchen, it just connects them to family and spending time together, and being with a group, and just mom and dad having this. It's the coolest thing ever. And Ms. Jones, I got to be honest with you, no one ever forgets who gave them their Cutco. No one ever forgets who gives them their Cutco. Okay? And so, you know, someone is probably going to hook them up. If I don't see them and sell to them myself, I bet someone's going to hook them up with some Cutco. It'd be such a cool thing if it was you. Every time I work events, Ms. Jones, I can't tell you how many customers I have come up and they talk about the Cutco that their parents bought them or their grandparents bought them. It's such a cool generational thing. It's the funnest thing in the world. I think we know you probably spent more than this over the years. So wouldn't it be great to just have something really awesome to show for it? Hey, would it be okay since you're here anyway? Can I at least show you what's possible in the family program? Is that okay if I at least just showed you? That's it. Guys, like buying, here's what I need y'all to understand. It's fun to shop for things. It's fun to buy things for people we love. I love buying things for my wife. It's a fun thing to do. And if your approaches are just how many logical boxes can I tick going through your approach, I got to tell you, you're missing out. I think that's why I love the family program so much, is because listen to me, y'all. I'm not the structured guy, but I love just getting a chance to work with customers and have fun with them and make them feel good. They feel great. They feel so great. And by the way, how great is it when we go to like the net meeting or something when our conferences are live and we can get galley sets at a discount? And like, I'm not gonna lie to y'all, one of my three galley orders, there's actually a 4 galley. I don't count it as 4, okay? But I just charged them full price for 3 of them, and I just gave them one of the galleys I got at the net meeting for $125. Thank you, Dave Bush. Thank you, Scott Gorell. Thank you, National, for taking care of us like that. Man, if you're not maxing out on product, what are you even doing? Okay, send it to me. Don't do that. That was probably bad. I shouldn't say that. All right, but just max out on your product. It's crazy. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. All right, last point. Don't be afraid to make deals. Here's the thing. I'm a value seller most of the time, unapologetically. I'm a value seller in TGP. We feel that's an important part of our approaches. Thank you, Seth Kinzer, for really challenging us years and years ago, getting us on that level we needed to be at. But if there was ever a time to channel price selling ability, I do think it's with a family program, okay? Guys, I had a couple years, I guess a year and a half ago, some very, very good friends of mine were getting married. And I asked them, I said, look, I'm not going to buy you towels or something stupid from your registry. I'm just not going to do it. Okay. And so I said, tell me something you want that no one else is going to buy for you, and let me see if I can make it happen. All right. And they wanted a Roomba, but not like any Roomba. They wanted a badass Roomba. So it's like $1,000 for this thing. And so no worries, guys. I was happy to do that for them. They're worth every penny to me. But you better believe before we ordered it, my wife jumped on Amazon and Roomba and a few different sites just to check some prices. We're willing to spend that amount of money on them. You'll track me on here. We're willing to do it, but it's not a weird thing to shop around. All right, we get weird and possessive with customers sometimes instead of just learning how to do things the right way. And guys, I'm going to challenge you. If someone buys multiple sets from you, you should assume every single one of them is going to check Cutco.com at some point, and you need to ask yourself, are my approaches congruent with what they're going to see? Okay. Am I telling them I made you the deal of the century because you bought 3 galley sets and you just charged them full retail and gave them a high five and a hug? Okay. How is that customer going to feel about that? And are you damaging your long-term relationship with that client? Okay. So the way that I choose to combat this is by price positioning Cutco against itself. I show them in my price finder, hey, this homemaker set's only $13.26. And then on the family program, this is crazy. You're not even gonna believe this. I can do it for $12.59. $12.59, Mrs. Jones. And what's more is, now that's in your head, you're going to do this eventually. If you wait and do it later, the thing's probably going to be $1,500, and you're not going to get this discount. Gosh. Hey, let me show you what that would look like over 5 months. Guys, I'm telling you, like, I'm personally of the opinion the family program is the one. To me, it's not negotiable. I have to offer some value. Now, it can be free stuff. It doesn't have to be discounts. And again, guys, I have no problem just straight up selling a set full price. Cutco's worth it. It should cost more than it does. But I do think family program is the one area that I personally, my philosophy, I'm not saying this is true for everyone, my philosophy, I feel more comfortable offering them a discount because I find it moves the needle a little bit more for me. Guys, honestly, taking that off, it's not that much worse than getting kitchen tools away on a homemaker set. I get it. We're also good now that like we can close anything with a veggie peeler and a smile and a cutting board that we're already getting. Okay, it's cool that we're that good, y'all. But remember the time when like you would be excited for $1,000 order, whatever it looked like. It's okay to just be excited about $1,000 order, especially since a lot of times this is an upsell, especially since a lot of times there's multiple of them. This is crazy. This is insanity. A nickel's holding up $1 in these cases. So guys, don't lose out on a $3,500 order on principle. That's stupid. That's dumb. Okay. That's like my mortgage. Are you kidding me? All right. Like just make sure that you're playing the game smart. If you're not confident as selling at full price, whole different conversation. I've got a great talk from Seth Kinzer. I need to find it. I'll share it with you and everything in your life will be better. But for this, I think it's worth it to give them a good enough compelling reason to do it now. Guys, if I have to B-block 3 homemaker sets or 4 homemaker sets to get it done, who cares? Who cares? And honestly, I have a lot of table knives lying around anyway, just because I do. All right, 9 times out of 10, I'm just going to send them to them as it is. Guys, when it comes to the galley set, I want to give you one extra little bonus thing. The galley set is under $1,000. The end. The galley set is under $1,000. I cannot stress to you mentally what a difference that comma makes into customers' willingness to purchase things. Homemakers are wedding gifts, okay? Homemakers are big occasion gifts for most families. Y'all, I can discount a galley set and frame it as a Christmas gift, as a birthday gift. I can do a lot with a galley set, And that customer I sold a signature set to 2 years ago, and they bought it on a 5-pay, so I know they can budget $400 a month. I don't know. How many discounted galley sets could I squeeze into $400 a month? I don't know. Maybe it's just 2. But damn it, if I can discount it and get 2 more, guys, if a customer bought a signature set from you and 2 years later you sold them another signature set, would you be fired up by that? Hell yeah, you would. Of course you would. Okay. But don't take that the wrong way. Part of like making those deals can also be customizing a cool 5-piece to bring the price point down significantly. Guys, if you don't have some back pocket specials on 5 pieces, you're missing out. What is your barbecue set that they can give their son? What is your baking package that they can give to their niece? And what is your everyday set that they can have for the lake house? Like, you should have those. Cutco should have those. Why there's not just a set and a tray that's a boning knife, a Hardy slicer, a Santoku trimmer, just your barbecue knives, a Santoku slicer. Are you kidding me? I write that crap up all the time. Thanks for the new Cutco orders update, Dave. I can finally save that stuff. All right? So, y'all, all this being said, when you think about are people went over by the discount or the concept, honestly, I think it's both because I tie the discount heavily into the concept. But if you can get that emotional close side down, everything else is going to be fine. But the biggest problem for most of us is we're just not doing it enough. We're not doing it enough because we're not doing it all the time. Because just remember, if you don't offer it every time, you're bad at your job. All right? You're bad at your job, and you should feel sad. Don't overthink it, y'all. Lean into it and have fun with it.